So what's the difference between Nyanga Nyanga and Mbira?
Nyanga Nyanga is a type of Mbira which is popular in Mozambique, and it's believed that Mbira came from, Mbira comes from Zimbabwe, and it's believed that the people that play Mbira in Zimbabwe and that created the musical tradition of Mbira in Zimbabwe came from Tanzania, where there is also a strong kalimba thumb piano playing tradition. Okay. So, it sort of started in Zimbabwe, so to speak, and it spread out from there. Mozambique, Tanzania, some of the neighboring areas have thumb piano is something that is popular there, or Mbira, whatever one's calling it.
Your relationship with the Mbira, how did it start?
It started with, I took a Afropop lab with Freddie Bryant at Berkeley, and he had us watch this movie. It was a guitar lab for Afropop, and he had us watch this movie called Throw Down Your Heart with Bella Fleck. And Bella Fleck brings the banjo to Africa. And the reason for this documentary movie with Bella Fleck and the banjo is that the banjo is an African-originated instrument. So the movie's pretty interesting. It shows the instrument in that context, and he's playing with people there, and he runs into some people that play thumb piano, and those performances were particularly inspiring to me. And so from that movie, I looked into the instrument, did some research, and then I bought one, and then ran into this guy who gave me a book, and in the book it tells you how to make one of them. So I started making them, and now my feeling is I'm going to be making these for a long time, and I really enjoy playing them and making them.
How many keys normally does an Mbira have? Do you know?
An Mbira Zavidzimu, the larger one with 3 keys, 3 manuals of keys, has about 22 to 24 average keys. And then the one that we're building right now, the Nyanga Nyanga, has 19 keys, which is the less popular version of the Nyanga Nyanga, which is around today, which has 15 keys, which is the one right here. The reason for the extra keys is it makes it so you can play more pieces on this instrument, and you can also play with that instrument as well, pieces together. But it gives the option for a larger repertoire, and it adds notes like the fourth and some other things which are just nice.
Spiritually, the Mbira has a great impact, or what is the purpose of the instrument? Or
so the instrument is very culturally significant. It's used in ceremonies to communicate with the spirits and the ancestors.
Basically, tuning, you don't use any reference in the piano or something like that. You do it with the previous.
You can, especially if you don't have another instrument that's tuned and made ready, to be used around you. So you just use a tuned instrument that's already been made, or you use a guitar or a tuner or a tuning fork or what have you.
And the tuning is your preference? Is there a specific Mbira tuning?
Every Mbira has a specific tuning with different pitch layouts, key arrangements. Certain keys doubled, certain keys have octaves, etc. But yeah, it depends on where the instrument is from, how many keys it has.
Yeah.
Depends on what version of the instrument it is, tradition of making the instrument, and how many keys changes over time, although it tends to settle for periods of time.
And is the Mbira used in a non-traditional way? Is it used in more modern music? Do you know?
It's mostly traditional, but there have been people that use the music in a more contemporary setting to varying degrees.
How many hours do you take to do an Mbira?
It's approximately 40 hours per instrument, but it varies depending on the instrument, how many keys it is, how big it is, things like that. So like in the playing and tuning traditions of Zimbabwe, sometimes you'll have an instrument that's in a mode, and it's played and tuned that way, that instrument, for a long time, and then say one note shifts to be sharper or flatter, or maybe a couple notes at a time, but not a lot of notes will change, and what will happen is the Mbira player will get used to it and enjoy that tuning, and then that becomes the new tuning, just because it offers, different vibration, different feeling. And so and even, I believe the guy was John Kunaka, he would have a tuning, and then he would go around and he would hear another Mbira player with a tuning, and he would like that tuning, and then because of that he would change his tuning to that until he heard another tuning he liked more. And new tunings come about as well. New tunings can be created, but the general principle and key structure or pitch layout, not necessarily tonality, but pitch layout, will remain the same through the different variations and manifestations of tuning that a Mbira instrument might have or go through. But once an Mbira instrument is made, they tend to usually stick to that tuning for the duration of their existence, although that may change once or twice. But the thing is, the more you change Mbira tunings from their original tuned orientation, it wears out the keys, and then keys can break and things like that, and the issue can experiencing the instrument can experience issues with keys being too loose or too tight or too strained, or the wood breaking in certain places. You want to keep your Mbira tuned in the original orientation for the most part. It's also said that the spirit of the maker of the instrument is with the original tuning, which is another reason to not change it, is because it has a certain character that instrument maker put into it. Because it's actually very detailed the way they tune it. They tune it to the overtones, and they check meticulously with instruments to make sure that certain keys are tuned in certain ways, and certain instrument makers will make sure that the fourth or the octaves are tuned to be sharper or flatter, and it has to do with signature sounds with the instrument makers and their playing styles and stuff like that. So, another reason to leave the instrument as it is when you get it, because the instrument maker put a lot of thought into how the keys were tuned, provided they've been, doing this a while and they know what they're doing with the instrument.
Yeah. So, I think with that we're gonna wrap it up and just show you the finished product.
And this is in process. Soon, this one will have a soundboard with some bottle caps on it to make some nice buzzy rattly noises. And for now, we just have a couple of keys. We're setting the pressure so that the bar can remain even, and then as we add more keys, we'll more finely tune it until we get another one like this.
Yeah, so basically, I don't have any experience doing an Mbira. It was a great help having him around, but it's doable, and I think it's nice, the method of using scrap things. Like, you can get a piece of wood and do instruments and get scrap metal, and it's just all recycling, and I really would recommend people doing this a lot. I see the gratification in your work, and it's always nice to see the process of an instrument being made.
Yeah.
So, this was Gabe. Amazing Gabe. I hope you enjoyed this.
Thank you. Take care.